God damn it, woman. I'm sick of eating this crap you serve me every day. This omelette you serve me tastes like horse's ass. You hear me? A dead horse's ass. But what can I do? It's not like I have a magic powder to make food taste better. Psst, here. Try adding this powder. How about now? You like it? Like it? Oh my god, this is delicious. What did you put in there? It says black pepper and there are a bunch of other spices. With this, I can make my food tasty. You love me now, don't you? You? Who needs you? All I need is this spice. But what about our marriage? Who needs marriage when you've got spicy omelette? Come here, my sweetie. Spice. To understand the reason for Battle of Plassey, it is important to understand the story of spice. Spice was really big in Europe in the 13th century. They weren't just a way to make food taste better. They were symbols of wealth, power and status. When William I of Scotland visited Richard I of England, he was gifted a daily allotment of 4 pounds of cinnamon and 2 pounds of pepper. That's how valuable spice was. Royalty gifted it to one another. In fact, Rome was once held hostage and the invaders demanded 3,000 pounds of black spice. But spice was not possible to grow in Europe as it needs a warm climate to grow. Like India, spice was imported in huge quantities and the route used for bringing spice to Europe was called the spice trade route. It was the sister route of the more famous Silk Road. But a small event changed that, the fall of Constantinople. When the Muslims of the Ottoman Empire conquered the city of Constantinople, they set in motion events that led to the Battle of Plassey and ultimately the colonization of India. Because it just so happens that the city of Constantinople was in the path of this spice trade route. And now the Arabs controlled the supply route of spice, which the Europeans could not swallow. So the Europeans started to look for alternative routes. They made a few mistakes. A guy called Christopher Columbus visited a piece of land 3 times which he thought was India before he realized that it was America. But eventually a Portuguese guy named Vasco da Gama became the first European to discover a sea route to India in 1498. Once an alternative route was established, other European traders started flowing in. All of them had their greedy little eyes firmly set on India's wealth. But the question was, how? Okay, here are the options. We could go with the Aztec model and kill them all horribly. Or we could go with the Incas model and kill them all horribly. Wait, why not just directly attack and kill them? Let's go in guns blazing. Yeah, let's attack them. It's not like they have 1 million soldiers or anything. How many did you say? 2 to 4 million? Okay, just back up slowly. Long live the... No, not now, John. Just back up slowly. At that time, the Mughal Empire under Aurangzeb was at the height of its power. Once the Europeans realized that they could not take on the Mughals, they decided to settle down as traders rather than conquerors. But competition was tough and the Mughals had a lot of corruption at the lower levels. So the merchants made very limited profit. Then Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb died. This event was like the fall of Berlin Wall for India. The demise of Aurangzeb led to the emergence of new regional power centers, similar to the formation of nation-states post the fall of USSR. The former viceroy or governors of the Mughal Empire became the Nawab or rulers of their region. The Europeans realized that with the rise of multiple power centers, they can revisit some of their earlier plans of conquest. They realized they could manipulate the Nawabs to fight each other, which would help them consolidate power. Soon the Europeans started fighting each other to establish supremacy. After the Battle of Colachel, where the Dutch were defeated, the major European powers left in India were the English and the French. And they were looking for an opportunity to gain monopoly in the subcontinent. And one such opportunity presented itself in the states of Hyderabad and Karnataka. Hyderabad and Carnatic were two kingdoms which emerged after the fall of Aurangzeb. Asaf Jah, who was a powerful Mughal viceroy, became the Nawab of Hyderabad. He appointed one of his friends, Dost Ali Khan, as the Nawab of Carnatic, who in turn appointed his son-in-law, Chand Sahib, as the governor of Trichy. Jump to 1740, the Marathas invaded the Carnatic and killed Dost Ali Khan. His son, Safdar Ali Khan, became king, but instead of fighting the Marathas to avenge his father, he offered Trichy to the Marathas in order to save his own head. Chand Sahib was therefore captured and taken to the Maratha capital of Satara as a prisoner. Safdar Ali Khan breathed a sigh of relief, and then was promptly stabbed by another guy named Murtaza Ali Khan, who declared himself as the king. But Asaf Jah was annoyed that Murtaza killed his friend's son, and so he sent his own son, Ghaziuddin Khan, to kill Murtaza. Murtaza disguised himself as a prostitute and fled. So Ghaziuddin Khan declared himself as king, and then was promptly stabbed by another of his flunky, Anwaruddin Khan, who then declared himself as king. Thankfully, no one stabbed him. Not yet anyways. Asaf Jah was again pissed, but couldn't do much as he had no army. He died soon after, in 1748. After his death, his grandson Muzaffar Jah was appointed as Nizam and was promptly kicked out of throne by his uncle, Nasir Jung. Now we have two ousted princes, Muzaffar Jah and Chand Sahib. Both of them wanted to snatch their kingdoms back. And this is where French realized that they could use these princes to increase their influence. So they gave money to Muzaffar Jah, who used that to free Chand Sahib. They further used money the French gave them to raise army and reclaim their kingdoms. Chand Sahib killed Anwaruddin and occupied Arcot, the capital of Carnatic. Later on, Muzaffar killed Nasir and became the Nawab of Hyderabad. This made French the numero uno in India, and the English were about to lose it all. The only opposition remaining was the son of Anwaruddin Khan, who fled to Trichy after Arcot fell. And this is where the first protagonist of the Battle of Plassey enters, Robert Clive. As a young boy, Robert was very ill-tempered. He was shunted from school to school due to his bad temper. As he grew up, he would often lead raids against shopkeepers who refused to pay tribute. Soon he was branded as intolerable, wild and headstrong. His reputation grew so bad that his father decided to ship him to India. His father handled the entire matter with the grace of a bull in a china shop. Okay son, you have a long voyage ahead of you. Just remember, I hate you. Oh father. Now, let me explain. You're not only bad, you're stupid. There is absolutely no hope for you. You got it? Great. Now off you go. And remember, I hate you. With these happy thoughts, Robert arrived in India. Right when French were on the verge of victory, the Nawab of Carnatic and Hyderabad were French-backed. So the only remaining place where the English-backed Nawab was holding out was Trichy, where Anwaruddin's son, Muhammad Ali, was holed up. The English didn't really have a plan to deal with the situation, but Robert did. He proposed that rather than challenging the strong Franco-Indian forces at Trichy, he would strike at Arcot, Chand Sahib's capital city, with the goal of forcing Chand Sahib to lift the siege at Trichy. It was a daring plan, and he only got a few hundred soldiers to attack a fortress which housed twice that number, but he was able to do it. Not only did Clive conquer Arcot, he was able to withstand a siege of over 8,000 soldiers, all with a few hundred soldiers he had, and he was able to do this for 50 days. The siege of Arcot earned Clive a reputation and huge riches, enough for him to retire and move back to London. While Robert was occupied with the siege of Arcot, his opponent in the Battle of Plassey, Siraj-ud-Dawla, was up to his own shenanigans. Like Robert, Siraj-ud-Dawla was a pretty terrible child. But unlike Robert, he was really doted upon by his grandfather. The love his grandfather had for him was borderline ridiculous. Once, Siraj invited his grandfather to a dinner and then held him hostage. He demanded 500,000 rupees to let him go. Now, if it had been any normal grandparent, he would have whooped his ass. But Al-Waridi was delighted and actually gave him the money. After Al-Waridi died, Siraj became the Nawab in Bengal. But sadly, his education left much to be desired, and by many accounts, he was a pretty terrible ruler. Sire, you are the Nawab of Bengal now. You need to address the discontent some important people have against you. Like, remember this guy? He's a big banker and you slapped him. How about making amends? Boo. Okay. How about we deal with revenue collection issues? That sounds... Come on, don't you want to go torture some peasants? You used to love that. Nah, what else we got? Sire, I have got grave news. The English. What? What have those white devils done now? They have built a wall. Those devils. How dare they build a wall? That's it. We're going to war.